Adulting is like trying to assemble Ikea furniture without instructions. No one knows what's happening, and you end up with extra pieces, and a lot of regrets. But what if there was a blueprint, a step-by-step guide to not completely screwing up your finances? Well, good news! Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps are here to save you from financial chaos. Because let's face it, your money's probably as lost as your car keys right now. In this video, we're breaking down Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps, animated for your entertainment. Because why should adulting be boring? From building your emergency fund to paying off your home early, we're making money management less of a nightmare. Let's be honest, if you don't understand how to handle your money, it's like trying to make a smoothie without the lid on. Everything's just gonna spill everywhere. By the end of this video, you'll understand the baby steps to financial freedom. Baby Step 1. Save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. Alright, here we go. Baby Step 1. It's time to save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. Now, I know the first thought that pops into your head is probably, how on earth am I supposed to save $1,000 when I can barely keep track of my subscriptions to Netflix, Hulu, and that one obscure app you tried for a week? But hear me out. This $1,000 isn't for some vacation to Bora Bora. It's your emergency fund. It's the safety net for when life hits you with the unexpected, like your car breaking down on a rainy Tuesday, or your washing machine deciding to go on strike at the worst possible time. Trust me, it happens. And when it does, you're going to want to be able to handle it without turning to a credit card or having a mini panic attack. Once you've hit that $1,000, give yourself a high five. You just set yourself up with the foundation to start building a more financially secure future. You'll feel like a total boss. And trust me, you'll be glad you did when life inevitably throws you that curveball. Baby Step 2. Pay off all debt except the house using the debt snowball. Alright, so now you've got your emergency fund sitting pretty with $1,000. Great job! You're officially one step closer to adulting like a pro. But here's the thing. While $1,000 is awesome for emergencies, you've got some other things going on, right? Maybe you've got a car payment, credit card debt, or that student loan that has been in the family longer than your firstborn. The real progress happens with a plan, and let's introduce the debt snowball. Don't worry, it's not as dramatic as it sounds. No need to grab a shovel and start shoveling money into a literal snowbank. The debt snowball is all about paying off your smallest debt first and then using the money you were putting toward that debt to tackle the next one. Kind of like a snowball rolling down a hill, picking up more and more momentum as it goes. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, shouldn't I be paying off the debt with the highest interest rate first? Well, sure, that sounds logical, but logic doesn't always win in the world of finances. The debt snowball is about getting that quick win. You pay off the smallest debt first, feel accomplished, and then you keep rolling on to the next one, all the while staying super motivated. It's like a financial victory lap, but without the confetti. So let's break it down. Start by making a list of your debts. Line them up from smallest to largest and go after the smallest one first. Maybe it's that $200 credit card balance or a tiny personal loan. It doesn't matter how small, just pay it off. When you do, take a moment to celebrate yourself. Then, take the money you were paying toward that first debt and apply it to the next one on your list. Keep doing this until everything is paid off except for the house. The house can wait, unless you've somehow got a house-sized debt for a couch. If that's the case, we need to talk. But seriously, the debt snowball method works because you start gaining momentum. It's like starting with a snowflake, and by the end you've got an avalanche of success on your hands. And hey, while you're at it, you might even enjoy the guilty pleasure of sending those final "I'm debt-free" letters. They're like sending a breakup text to your debt. It's not me, it's you. Baby Step 3. Save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. Alright, you've got your $1,000 emergency fund from Step 1. You've knocked out all of your consumer debt with that debt snowball from Step 2. Congrats! You're already starting to feel like an adult with actual financial control. But let's be real, you're not done yet. Now it's time for the next big step. Saving 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. I know. Right now you're probably wondering if you can just take a deep breath and tell yourself, well, $1,000 is better than nothing, right? Sure, it's a great start, but if you're hoping to keep your financial future intact without a collapse every time the car breaks down, or you get an unexpected medical bill, you're going to need more than just a tiny cushion. You need to establish a disaster relief fund. Soon you'll be saying, life can throw anything at me, but I've got enough money saved to make it through until my next paycheck. Here's why this is so important. If you've ever been blindsided by something unexpected, an emergency room visit, car repairs, or an urgent house repair, you know that it's not just the financial hit that hurts. It's the stress, the panic, the frantic scrambling to figure out how to pay for it all. But with a fully funded emergency fund, you don't have to worry about that. You just reach into your savings, pay for the emergency, and move on with your life. So grab your expenses, your rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, car payment, insurance, all that jazz, and figure out what your monthly cost of living is. Multiply that by 3, and that's your bare minimum emergency fund target. So aim for 6 months of expenses if you can. Trust me, your future self will thank you when you're not scrambling for money every time you spill coffee on your favorite shirt, or Whiskers knock something off the counter and you have to replace it. Baby step 4. Invest 15% of your household income in retirement. All right, we're cruising now. You've built your emergency fund, wiped out debt, and saved a good cushion for those unexpected curveballs life throws your way. But now it's time to think long-term. Like, really long-term. I'm talking about your retirement, the time when you get to sit back, relax, and maybe sip a cocktail while watching the world burn around you. Just kidding. But not really. Step 4 is all about investing 15% of your household income into retirement accounts. Yes, I know, retirement sounds like something for old people with gray hair and a collection of cats, but here's the deal. The earlier you start investing, the more your money has time to grow. Think of it like planting a tree. If you plant it now, it's going to grow tall and strong, giving you shade for years to come. But if you wait until you're nearing retirement age, you'll be stuck with a tree that's, well, just a little shrub. And nobody wants to rely on a shrub when they're 70, right? Here's how you do it. Aim to invest 15% of your gross household income, before taxes, folks, into retirement accounts like a 401k, IRA, or any other retirement plan your employer offers. The preferred method of approach is max out any employer-matched contributions. Then fund your Roth IRA, then finish with your traditional 401k. And no, don't count the employer match as your 15% contribution, that's just gravy on top. Once you have your 15% allocations, set up an automatic contribution to force discipline. It's like paying yourself first, except it's a lot more future-you focused and a lot less, I need a new pair of shoes today. The magic of investing early is that you can take advantage of compound interest. Basically, the money you put in today grows exponentially, not linear. It's small at first, but it grows into something huge. So while your future self will thank you, your current self will probably curse you a little when you're trying to live off of ramen for a couple of weeks. But trust me, future you will have the last laugh. Baby step 5. Save for your children's college fund. All right, now we're getting into the family stuff. Step 5 is all about saving for your children's college fund. You've already worked hard to secure your own financial future, but now it's time to think about the little humans you're raising. The ones who in a few short years will be asking for money to attend that fancy college or university. Because we all know they won't be satisfied with anything less than top-tier education, right? Here's the thing. College is expensive, like really expensive. And if you want to avoid selling a kidney to pay for your kid's tuition, it's best to start saving early. Think of it like planting a seed. The earlier you start, the bigger the tree will grow. By the time your kids are ready for college, you'll have a nice chunk of change set aside for them, and they'll be able to focus on their studies instead of stressing over student loans. Now for baby step 6. Pay off your home early. Okay, now we're getting into the big stuff. Your house. You've saved your emergency fund, invested for retirement, and started thinking about your kids' education. But there's still one more thing that's tying you down. That mortgage. And let's be honest, there's nothing more satisfying than saying, I own this place free and clear. So what's the plan here? Pay off your home early. The sooner you do it, the more money you'll save on interest. Think about it. Every extra payment you make goes straight toward the principal balance of your mortgage. It's like giving your loan a little punch in the gut, knocking it out faster. Paying off your home early isn't about keeping up with the Joneses or impressing your neighbors. It's about the freedom that comes with owning your house outright. Once that mortgage is gone, you're no longer on the hook for those hefty monthly payments. Imagine what you could do with that money instead. Travel, save more for retirement, or just breathe a little easier knowing you're not tied to a mortgage for the next 20 years. To make this happen, try making extra payments whenever you can. Remember, every extra payment needs to be applied to principal only. We don't want to pay for interest in advance. Baby step 7. Build wealth and give. All right, we made it. Step 7, the grand finale, where you finally get to enjoy the fruits of your hard work. This is where you shift gears and start building true wealth while also making the world a better place. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, it's not. It's just smart financial planning and a little generosity thrown in. First, let's talk about building wealth. By now, you've paid off debt, invested for retirement, saved for your kids' education, and even paid off your house early. You've got the foundation set, and now it's time to make your money work even harder for you. You're not just aiming to survive anymore, you're aiming to thrive. This is where you start investing in things like stocks, real estate, or even starting your own business. You've got to take the wealth you've built and use it to create more wealth. This isn't just about sitting on your pile of cash. But here's the thing. Money alone won't fulfill you. That's where the second part comes in. Giving. Now that you've achieved financial freedom, it's time to use that success to make an impact. Give back, whether it's donating to charities, funding scholarships, or just helping out a friend in need. Giving is the cherry on top of your financial journey. You know that feeling when you do something kind for someone else? Imagine being able to do that on purpose with your wealth making a difference. It's like the ultimate flex. Yeah, I'm financially free and I'm changing lives. So get out there, build that wealth and spread the love. Your future self and the world will thank you.